All right, everybody. Welcome to Head Kick Audio. I am Steve, your host of Head Kick Audio and RUF commentator. I got a very special guest coming at us from New Mexico out of the Jackson Wink camp. I got Jordan Butter. What was that?
Oh, she lives in the dorms as well.
Hi. How are you?
Good. What is?
Little podcast.
Yeah.
Hi, good to see you.
She's a star.
Yeah. Have a great day. Anyways, Jordan Butters, talk to me. You're going to be making your pro debut over at RUF 47, which takes place May 14th at the Celebrity Theater in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, that's RUF, in case they didn't hear me. You know what I mean? So pro debut, 4-0 as an amateur. You had a bunch of finishes, a lot of submissions, a lot of experience. Your last fight, you went the distance. But now we're playing with the big boys, right? Now the records matter. Now there's a little bit of this involved. So talk to me about your pro career, what you would like to accomplish with it. Talk to me about your amateur career. You know, how did you go the route that you went? And then also tell me, maybe in chronological order, how you got into MMA, your amateur career, and then what you'd like to do as a pro.
Okay. Well, the way I got into it was I started out wrestling, started in junior high school, went to college, wrestled Division III. Right from there, I thought I wanted to get into coaching, did 2 years of coaching, and I was like trying to train MMA while I'm coaching. Thought I could do both at a high level, and the time commitment was way, just with recruiting, hitting the road all the time. I'm like, man, I'm not training the way I want to train. So the second year coaching, I told the head coach, hey, I'm going to take a trip to, Jackson Wink, I kind of jumped ahead. I took my first 3 while I was still in that second year of coaching. But the COVID year actually kind of helped me. It was a burden on the school and the university, unfortunately. But for me, we had practices getting canceled, competitions getting canceled. And I was like, well, I'm going to go train MMA and fight. So I did those 3 from December until May. Fought December, March, and May in that quick span. And after that third one, I was applied to just come take a month visit at Jackson Wink. Did a month in June and came back to Ohio and was like, man, I got to go back. So I called the head coach and had to quit, which he was my coach in college as well. So he kind of knows how I am, what I'm about, and he was very cool with it. And was like, hey, if you want to do this thing, go do this thing. So then next thing you know, I'm living in New Mexico, and they got me 2 Muay Thai fights, actually in Arizona, hit those, and then was able to win the Cagezilla amateur title. And wasn't sure if I was going to continue with the AMI to get a few more, or which I wanted to go pro, but just kind of waiting on the go ahead. And the manager asked, and I was like, I feel ready. It's up to the coaches really. And Coach Joey, who kind of is who I work with the most here, was like, he's ready. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's go time. So then they started looking, and probably around March, they started looking and kind of had a little trouble finding a matchup. And then luckily now got this one going in a couple of weeks, and now we're here.
Exactly. All right. Now, what drew you to Jackson Wink?
How easy it was to apply online. I looked at, obviously everybody that's small kind of looks at alpha male, I'm sure, like on Google. I couldn't afford to even live a week in California. So that immediately canceled that. And then all the other big gyms, I didn't see like a new fighter form. So I'm like, well, I'll just fill this one out. And the manager here, Misha, emailed me in probably like 3 hours.
Wow.
So I was like, well, that's got to be a good sign. So then I just pulled the trigger on it. Just since it was only a month, I'm like, I'll go for a month. It wasn't going to cost it too much. I had enough saved up to do it a good month. And then it just ended up working out perfect. Fell in love with it.
All right. And so now we're there full time, correct? We have made the move to New Mexico.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and for those of you who don't know, Ohio is where he is from, right? And it's a colder, damper climate than desert states like New Mexico and Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So how did the weather affect your training, your breathing, any of that stuff?
Well, just the elevation when I first got here, the first week because I've always kind of prided myself on good cardio, and I got humbled pretty quickly. And I'm like, man, I'm having a hard time getting through this. What wouldn't be a normal, just an easy workout, nothing insane. And I'm like, man, I'm feeling like a wuss. But luckily, a couple of hard weeks, and that went away. I love the heat. I've always preferred summer. So like moving here in the summer, I'm like, oh, it's nice, it's hot. I was pissed, man, when the winter came, because I don't know why I was under the assumption it never got cold here, and I was sadly mistaken. It got cold quick, because so I pulled a little box trailer down from Ohio, kind of like converted it into a little camper, and that's what I live in. So I woke up the first like winter night. It was probably like 40 degrees in my little trailer. And that's how I realized that, okay, it gets cold here. But yeah, other than that, the weather, I love it, especially now that it's getting warm again. But yeah, I was bummed about the winter. I was like, man, there's no winters here. It's the desert. This is great. And everybody's like, you're way wrong.
Now, I assume it had some effect on your training in a positive way because you just
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, the altitude and stuff. Do you think that's kind of given you an advantage going into this fight?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just any little edge, I think, is a good advantage. Like my last fight was in Virginia, so right at sea level. And I could tell once we got there and I got like my first blowout in, I think I just had like a little extra gear once I got back down to a little lower elevation. And I was like, okay, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay, and what can you tell me about your opponent, Humberto? What does he do well, and what do we got to keep an eye on?
I couldn't find a whole lot of recent film. I was able to find I shouldn't say I found his two recent, but there's only like the two, and like there was a pretty big gap between every other one I found. But he looks pretty long. It's hard to tell. A flyweight like long is, I'm only 5'2", so a lot of people seem like lanky to me. But he's fast on his feet, so I think a big thing that I just got to look out for is not like rushing in to close the gap. I need to come in with good angles, patient. I don't need to be in a hurry to close distance, in the sense like I don't need to hurry and be reckless. And I think that'll be like the biggest thing for me is just good entries. Everybody usually knows that I like to wrestle. I'm sure he knows as well. So if I just sticking to good fundamentals, just because I know he has them. He has a lot of. I've always had a few Muay Thai fights as well. So definitely like strike heavy, it seems.
Okay, and obviously, 3 submissions on the AMI scene. Is that where you're kind of leaning towards taking this fight, or are you just kind of going to roll with the punches?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to create like the perfect world, a good start would just be being able to get right to a takedown. But always, you just got to feel what somebody's timing's like and everything like that. But yeah, I would like to get it to the ground. That's where I usually feel the most comfortable. I think just my pressure on the ground is my biggest strength. So anytime I can get there, I'm really, really happy.
Well, a lot of times wrestlers find out I have power when they knock somebody out. Is that something that you look for coming from that background? Are you looking for that knockout that changes your life?
The thought of it's exciting for sure, but I don't want to overthink or like over focus on something like that, because I think that's when I could be again like now I'm excited like thinking about something like a beautiful finish, and I'm not letting the fight develop because I'm like, oh, I want to go in here and strike. and then I forget like who I am. So like if it could happen organically, that would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it happens a lot. It happened with Chad Mendes. He found out he had power. It happened with Ryan Bader. It happened with a lot of topper, upper echelon fighters. So
Yeah.
it's always interesting to see, because when wrestlers find out they have power, then they become two things. They become extremely dangerous, but then they also become predictable because they're looking for that knockout, and then they flip themselves. So a lot of fights come to mind, like Bader versus Teixeira. That one definitely comes to mind.
Yep.
Mendes versus Edgar. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's always a catch-22. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I can knock people out, but it makes them forget that they can also be put out as well. Now, I want to talk about in the gym, who's helping you get prepared for this fight?
Oh man, there's so many. Just every coach. I'm lucky enough, now that I've been here a little longer, like it'll be a year in June. So I work with just about every coach at some point. Not all super frequent with all of them, but like I definitely have a relationship with just about everybody. So all the coaches for sure. And I'm lucky that just with workout partners. Just at flyweight, like I got Jesse Tafoya, who he won the FAC title. I think that's what it's called, the FAC. It just got bought by Uriah Faber, that promotion. So whatever it was named before he purchased it, but he's got that. His nickname's Tornado Style. He's a lot opposite of me when it comes to like style. So it works out really good for me to like be uncomfortable. Nick Jelli, he fights tonight in Muay Thai. He's in Arizona actually fighting tonight. But he helps me so much with just I would say like my mechanics and actually learning how to throw a strike, where like being a wrestler, it's always kind of like go, go, go. Like if I just make the workout really hard, I'm doing okay. Where he's like, let's focus on like some actual technique. And then I've been lucky enough. I work with Aaron Pico when he's available. I've gotten close with him just watching how he lives and trains and thinks, and just taking not even little, just anything I can from him. Those are like a big three, but there's just so many good guys and girls that I get to work with and learn from here. It's just it's unbelievable.
Now, when you walked into the gym to do your month trial, we'll call it, was it like, your eyes got big when you see, all the bodies that they have in there to work with? I'm sure it's a beautiful facility. I've never been there, but I've interviewed quite a few fighters from there. I mean, what was the feeling like when you walked through those doors?
I was so nervous. It was crazy. The door for the manager, he was actually out that day. And I just stood there for like 10 minutes, like, man, do I just walk in and ask? I was afraid to even go ask anybody what I should do. So that took like 10 minutes just to like actually go into the workout area. But yeah, it was a ground and pound day that I got here. So I was like, oh my gosh, and the mats were so full. And I'm like, this is amazing. I got there a day early actually. So luckily they let me work out that day. Because that's why he wasn't there. I was supposed to start Monday, got there Sunday. I was like, I'm gonna try to just go in and see what's what. And
There you go.
They let me.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And then obviously you're coming out here to Arizona. How soon are you going to come out to maybe test the temperature and maybe the altitude here? Do you come out a week before? Do you come out the day before weigh-ins? What are your plans there?
I'll probably just do day before weigh-ins, drive out. I'm only bringing one corner, so it'll just be me, him in the car, and it's only like 6 or so hours. If I'm hopefully like as close to 6 as possible, I'm gonna try to really haul, since I'm gonna be cutting weight, so I don't want to be in the car super long. But yeah, get there probably just the night before weigh-ins. Probably cut a little bit of weight that night. And then I'll usually use that like weight cut the day of weigh-ins to get like that first blowout in. just I got to work out anyways to make the weight. So kind of like two birds, one stone. Get a good blowout, make weight, kind of acclimate all at once.
Okay. And being at 5'2" and 125 pounds, how strenuous or how big is the weight cut?
It's not bad. Just the way I train so frequently here, and I try to eat good all year. Outside of like, if it's not camp Saturday, I'll go a little crazy with food and drinks. But outside of that, like if it's Monday through Friday, I eat pretty good. So I'm usually like 38, 40 at the end of the day after I work out. So I don't like to get much above 40. I've been heavier for sure. And I didn't like the way I felt. Just being 5'2", like anything over 40 is that's thick. So
Yes.
I feel like I can't hardly move. 38, that's like my magic spot to kind of hang out, ideally.
Okay, well, you brought up food, so that's a nice little segue into a question that if you come on my show, you just have to answer. I don't care if you ate, I don't care if you lost, I don't care. I want to talk about the victory meal. How are you planning on celebrating your win with food?
It's burger and fries every time. Sometimes I think about switching it up and going pizza, but every time it's burger, fries, and milkshake. And then if I can find a pack of Oreos to eat in bed.
There you go.
Once I get back to the hotel, watch Netflix, eat Oreos.
All right.
Simple man.
Where are we getting the burger and milkshake from?
Probably In-N-Out, ideally. Because this will be the third time I've even had that. Just being from Ohio, and then I guess it's only an out west thing. So I'm like, if I'm in Arizona, I'm probably gonna go In-N-Out.
Okay. And what flavor shake you getting?
Strawberry for sure.
Okay. Not a fan of the chocolate?
Somebody told me strawberry, so I trusted it.
Okay.
Luckily they were wise. I enjoyed it.
Technically, it has fruit in it, so it's got to be healthy, right? I mean, come on.
That's what I tell myself.
Exactly. Now, I've got a cheat code that you can use. Okay. What you do is you go and get a pizza, you go and get a burger, you take a slice of pizza and put it in the burger.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yes. Because trust, all of this 160 right here should be about 363. Okay, because I eat as big as my 300-pound drummer. You know what I mean? I eat a lot, and I love food, and it makes things difficult for the wife because she's kind of picky when it comes to food, and she'll be like, "Well, I don't want to pick. What do you want to pick?" I say food because I'll eat fucking anything except for
I'm
mayo.
the same way. No mayo?
No mayo.
Oh man,
it's not for me.
It's a shame.
Yeah. You know, when you're, I've got a little bit of childhood trauma because my mom, when I told her I didn't want mayonnaise on it, she's like, why? I told her, well, I don't like mayonnaise. She fucking spooned it in her mouth and nope.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah. And I don't like the taste of mayonnaise. I think it's looking, I think it smells gross. And when your mom literally does something like that just to gross you out, it kind of scars you for life.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So no mayonnaise, or as I like to call it, man glaze. None of that for me.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. So, are you planning on hanging out after the fights, or is it right back home, right back to the gym?
Yeah, I'll probably leave Sunday morning, I imagine. For one, the training partner I mentioned, Nick Jelly, he's who's going to corner me. So he has a fight the 21st, so exactly the week after. So he'll be eager to get right back to training. I'll probably, ideally, everything, God willing, things go smooth. I'm healthy. I'm able to just kind of help him fight week as well. So yeah, we'll be back pretty quick, and just save money. We don't need to be hanging out too much. Just get right back to work.
I gotcha. And how soon would you like to get back, depending, the damage that you fight and all that shit?
Yeah, everything, always, if it goes well, I wouldn't mind trying to fight every month and a half, 2 months.
Okay.
Until, get higher to that high level, just to keep getting, just cage time really is the main thing I'm after. Yep.
Okay. And outside of the gym and outside of fighting, do you have a job?
I do a little bit of DoorDash and then some wrestling privates. Just enough. I make just enough I can eat I try to eat as many steaks as possible.
There
So as
you
long as I
go.
got enough to buy some steaks for the week, that's all I need.
All right. And
For
what's your
now.
favorite cut? What's your favorite
Rib
cut?
ribeye. Easy.
My
Easily a
man.
ribeye.
Are you trying to make me a fan of you? In my favorite division, we're talking about a pizza burger because I think that's what we're having after the fight. And then you're telling me ribeye is your favorite cut, you son of a gun. All right. Now look, the fights are, let's see, what, 2 weeks away?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're 2 weeks out. So the hard, you still got a week of hard training ahead of
Yeah.
you, and then you start to taper things off. So, what are some things that you do the week of the fight? Because I'm sure that's just like focus work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What are some things that you guys and your team work on the week of the fight?
It'll vary person to person. Being a wrestler, we've always worked out hard. In wrestling, we'll work out a hard practice the day before competition. So I kind of have that a little. I've dialed it back for sure, which was hard to like. That dial back week is the hardest thing for me. For one, you got like nerves going, so like the only way to calm nerves is a hard workout. Really, for me, that's like the only time you're not thinking about like how you feel, I guess. But just light drills. Find a partner that I trust is a big thing that'll let me work my things. Not try to take my head off or anything crazy, and just flow. Do a lot of situational stuff. Just pretty like all cage specific. Um, probably try to talk more, I guess, with the coach about specific game plan and like dial that in where we're on the same, I guess, frequency as much as you can. I don't think you can like over communicate in that sense. So just making sure we're all on the same page, which it's only me in one other corner, so that is an easy task, especially since we know each other so well. But other than that, just try to light drill, do small cardio sessions, just enough to break the sweat, just to keep my weight in check. Because that's what also sucks. Because I want to eat like I'm training, so then I dial back my training, and then I can't eat as much. I'm like, oh my gosh, this. So work out just enough to where I can eat what I want to eat is really the main thing.
All right. And I don't really talk about it that often, but the week of the fight, does the diet change drastically because you're in those, the week leading up to the fight, which means that's when you're cutting weight.
Mm-hmm.
So does the diet have to be scaled back significantly, or is it all just dependent on the individual and how they do their training?
Yeah, I would say it's individual. For me, I don't change it much. Really, all I eat is steak, eggs, and white rice. I don't really eat anything outside of that. So just fight week, I cut the white rice, and then a few days out, I won't salt the food as much. So I'm still like I'm gonna eat steak every day
Oh
of
my
fight
God.
week.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
You would get along with my guy, Adam Frank. He's a steak connoisseur. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's really into his steak. Now, outside of this career that you're chasing, what are some things that you like to do that are not related to fighting at all?
Not related to fighting at all. Back home, so I grew up racing dirt bikes. So back home, a lot of anything with two wheels, and I love it. Outside of
Okay.
that, but I have to dial that back now just due to safety. Just I
Yeah.
would be so mad at myself if I hurt myself doing that. So I have to dial that back a little bit. But yeah, here in New Mexico, I haven't did anything but train. so I don't even know what my hobbies would be here. But back home, just anything outdoors. If I can hunt and fish. But yeah, it's usually just working out. That's always
Okay.
my hardest question to answer. It's like, what's your hobbies outside of that? I'm like, I like to lift weights, but that's like related to training.
Well, anything to get the blood pumping, it sounds like. So that's
Yeah.
good. And the family, are they pretty supportive of this this choice, this career that you've decided to pursue?
Yeah, they were. The move was like the hard. Everybody didn't want me to go, but they understood what the reasoning behind it was, and as long as I send pictures of what I'm doing, try to send a couple of pictures a week, then they're all happy about it.
Okay, and that Butters, which we're going to touch on that, I promise. that Butters was going to get into a cage and get into a fist fight.
Just about everybody was pretty like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" My dad, he's pretty intense, so he showed little emotion. He's like, "If you want to do it, do it." I'm not the one doing it, so it doesn't make me that nervous. Which I kind of like that because sometimes you can feel the stress of like the family the ones that are super worried. I'm like, I wish you wouldn't, tell me this. Where he is just not worried, so I kind of like can absorb that energy, and I'm like, okay, that's the type of energy I need. There's no reason. It's stressful enough.
Yeah.
So it's nice that if he is worried, he does a great job of not making me feel it.
Like, what are dads for? What are dads
Right.
for?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I think my family's reaction was they weren't surprised at all because I did a bunch of stupid, crazy, dangerous shit as a kid. So it was not surprising, and they weren't really worried. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So look, the fight is 2 weeks away. But they have given you a fighter code, correct? Because that's something that I'd like to put at the bottom of the screen. So what is your fighter code? Because I don't want to forget that because I keep forgetting.
I think it's Jordan. I got to
Okay.
double check. I should know that way, way more.
Okay. If it's not Jordan, then I will figure out.
It's either Jordan or Butters.
Yeah, I will put it at the bottom of the screen here for you.
That's my task as soon as this is over. I should know that like right now.
You really should. So if you would like to support Butters here for this fight and to help fatten up his wallet, pay-per-view purchases and ticket purchases, you can use the fighter code Jordan or Butters, whatever it is. It'll be right here at the bottom. Okay. And like I said, a little bit of that cha-ching goes straight to this man's pocket. So let's fatten that thing up. But before I let you go, my mans, we got to talk about this nickname. Okay. Now, is it because you're slippery like butter, or is it because you like your steak smothered in butter?
It's because I'm on a roll.
Oh, neither.
No, that's usually just my go-to for it. I wish I had a cool story behind it. I was in junior high. I was a little skater kid.
Okay.
And first day at the skate park in like 6th grade, squeaky voice.
Mm-hmm.
Some older guys were like, "Man, you sound like Butters," and I'm like, I guess I don't know you. And then I get back the next day, and they're just like, "Oh, hey, it's Butters, it's Butters." And the way it stuck, I cannot believe it stuck the way it is. Like in high school, all my teachers called me that. I had teachers that were unsure of my first name. And I'm like, man, that's kind of crazy.
Well, I'll make you feel better. Okay. I'll make you feel better about your name. Okay. So you're called Butters, and a lot of people don't understand why. But my wife, we went to high school together. We weren't a couple back then, but her last name, her maiden name is Seaman. Okay. So, and don't worry, she's got a little joke like there's a little bit of me in everybody. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's some in your mom too. Okay. But I didn't know her first name for a very long time. So I heard people call her Seaman. So I called her Seaman. didn't know that her first name was Julie. I didn't know I was going to marry her. I didn't know any of that. To be fair, I thought she was a lesbian. You know what I mean? So, and don't worry, I've said it to her face before anybody goes ahead and gets offended. I just thought, she was a carpet muncher. Turns out she's not. So unless she thinks I'm a woman, no, I'm joking. Yeah, so hopefully that makes you feel better about the Butters thing, because everybody called her Seaman. Nobody said, "Hey, Julie."
Yeah.
Everybody said Seaman. And I would be like, "What's up, Seaman?" And she would look at me, smile and wave, So, yeah, there you go. Hopefully that makes you feel better about that.
It does.
Again, well, the fight's 2 weeks away. I cannot wait to call this fight. You're fighting in my favorite division, 125 pounds. I love this division. You guys are fast. You guys are able to hold up technique through rounds 1 through 3 through 5. If it's a championship round, you guys are the shit. Okay, so don't let anybody tell you anything different. And if they got something to say, they can come talk to me.
Right.
I don't fight with a ref. You know what I'm saying? Nope.
That's right.
There's no ref. There is no ref. But listen, Jordan, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I can't wait to see you perform. It's going to be cool having a Jackson Wink, alum in the house. It's a really good gym. You guys you guys deserve a lot of credit out there for, the fighters that you've put out into the universe. So it's good stuff. And I'm excited to call it, man. I really, really am. And it's, 3 5s, not 3 3s. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God.
I know.
I love this fight because the fights, you have the potential to go longer. So I can do more of my work. It's hard to talk about a fighter in only 9 minutes, but if I've got 15, there's room to work. Yeah. So thank you for going pro and making my job a whole lot easier.
Yes,
but
sir.
The first fight is the scale, so I want you to make it there safely, okay?
Yep.
And then the very next night, you're going to throw on some gloves and throw some hands. So safe travels. It's only a 6-hour drive, but people's is crazy, especially Phoenix traffic. I have to drive up from Tucson, so I've got to deal with the same bullshit you do coming in. So, like I said, safe travels. Again, we'll have your fighter code right here at the bottom. Jordan Butters, whatever it is, it'll be here at the bottom of the screen. And I look forward to meeting you in person, shaking your hand, and maybe we're getting a steak or a pizza or a burger or a shake. I don't know. Be all of the above.
All of it.
Yeah. Now we are talking. Well, my man, it was great talking to you. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Until next time. You're welcome.